Diving into the France Nationals here, and this little breakdown is going to be something that you really didn't expect to see. Big 30% of you that have not smashed the F11 crap out. Let's subscribe and smash it so you guys don't miss out. More content. Top 32. Oh boy. 9 Sprite variants in Top Cut across the board for, the pure, the hybrid. I was actually actually shocked to see that Cashiera follows up with 7, which is pretty normal. We have 3 Dragon Link, 3 branded. Okay, so those two kind of tied there. I see that we also had 2 Rika, 2 Vanquish Soul. Vanquish Soul has been doing pretty decent out here. And then in the 1-up department here, we have 1 Trap Tricks. We had a Synchron player. Really? Synchron made its way through top 64? Okay. We have 1 Sky Striker, 1 Marincess, a Floowandereeze, and a Tier Elements. There's a lot of Rogue present in this top cut, which is pretty good. I think that's a tall telling sign of, how this format is kind of piecing itself together here. Especially, this being a 2,000 person event. Okay, now top 16. We're down to 4 Sprite decks at this point in time. Man, we lost a lot of friends along the way there. We're down to 3 Cashiera decks at the top 16 point, which I feel like is fine. And then we have 2 branded barely holding on. Branded has been an interesting story this format. See how that deck has been developing. Then we have 2 Dragon Link. We have 2 Rika. Oh, okay, well, both Rika decks made it from top 32 to top 16, which is actually pretty impressive to me, that they were able to win out, overcome that competition. And then we had 2 Vanquish Soul. Wow, both Vanquish Soul players made it over too. Okay, that's good to see. And then Floowandereeze holds on. Well, the other Rogue decks did not have a good time in the transition phase there from top 32 to top 16. Yikes. Top 8, we are down to 2 Dragon Link duelists. So, Dragon Link really has been doing some interesting things here. That deck is, I think, one of the scarier decks this format. And you can thank Triple Magna Hut for allowing that deck to do its thing. When you can tutor for anything in your deck, it's really good. We also have double Cashiera, so Cashiera still doing its thing here. That's good to see. We had 2 Sprite decks on the transition, still holding on up here. We lost 2 friends along the way, but that's fine. And then we had 1 branded and 1 Vanquish Soul pushing on over here on to this side of things. And then winning the event was actually Cashiera, which, you know what? I think that's fine, because Dragon Link ended up getting 2nd out of this event. But everything that you've seen so far out of this breakdown, I love what I'm seeing for this format. You can grind into a top cut competition and do relatively well with pretty much anything this format. Let's pass on over to those top deck lists. All right, our first list we're going to be looking at here is the winning Cashiera deck. Now, if you expected something crazy out of left field here, I mean, it's exciting as, boy, we got Dark Road no more, so we have, Lances in here for defensive options. I think that's fine, as long as you're covering your base, especially like Book of Moons here. We also have Cosmic Cyclones as well. You have a very large assortment of techie cards to meet those niche situations that are going to put you in a bad position. I think that's good. Also, shout out to this double Master of Blades down here. I didn't actually expect to see a deck playing this, let alone a deck playing 2 of this. But yeah, they had double Master of Blades in their deck. I mean, hey, card effects activated, targets its face card, detach a material, negate that activation if you do destroy it. I mean, it does plow through defensive options, like these. So, I guess. Alright, cool. Next up here is our 2nd place Dragon Link deck here. And are we really? Okay, we are playing Rapid Trigger. Well, that's interesting. Fusion on 1 fusion monster from your extra deck by destroying fusion materials listed on it, but it can only attack monster special summon from the extra deck and is unaffected by activated effects. Well, I mean, you're just making the big Borreload Furious Dragon here and then triggering what, your rockets here. The fact that we're playing double Disruptor Dragon is beautiful. This is not something that I expected to see out here. I feel like this takes the deck to a little bit different of an approach here. It's not really something that I've seen people really... Actually, I haven't seen this ever in competitive Merit. So, good stuff. The fact that you're trying out different ideas out here is really, really good. And then, of course, value from the best card that we've got going for us here. Outside of that, I mean, got some little cool tech choices down here, like Destructive to Runick Cannon, but very, very interesting. Next up here, the average Sprite deck. And I see that we have Melfi Caddy and Penny here. We're pretty used to seeing, you know, the value that these two cards bring to the deck. Of course, the entire Sprite package is normal. Swap Frog is very, very cute. We've seen this kind of come up because, you know, this little card is incredibly usable for the deck. Double Sprint. I see we're side decking the Gamma Burst as well. So essentially this is to make sure that you can push for OTK if need be. And then, remain decking the Double Cross. Okay, I also see we are playing the one teched of enemy controller here. This is actually kind of funny. So if you want to go ahead and try to steal a game, this right here will give you the chance to do it. We're also playing the Pinkertops down here as well. Don't underestimate this card right now. This card has had a lot of comeback into the current format, and it has been an absolute unit when it actually touches down. Like, it ruins players' days. That's how good it is. Next up here, hey, we have Floowandereeze, and we're playing Jack in the Hand. You know, things that I really wish that were like a little bit better, but it is cool to see this actually gain merit. Just reveal 3 level 1 monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent adds one to their hand, you add one, and you shuffle the third back into the deck. But I mean, like, let's be honest here. You got an entire array of pretty cool little friends here that you can add. So, card is, yeah, I mean, sure, you give your opponent one of your birds, but I mean, it's not really much of a problem, honestly. See that we are playing evenly for disruptive options, and then, of course, I mean, it's just not a Floowandereeze deck unless you see the best card in the whole wide world, the Featherstorm down here. The fact that this card still is, like, in every side deck, and Konami hasn't punished it, I think Flounder will continue to get those free chicken nugget wins as long as this card actually exists, because, once again, it's an incredibly busted card. So, good stuff to see M-Pen and friends doing their job. Next up here, we have another Sprite deck. Feel like we lost the uniqueness along the way. See, we lost our little Melfi cards. Aww. This build's playing double cached here, a Fenrir, which is fine. 2 is going to give this deck a chance for recruitability options and the ability to spot removal things. And then, of course, I mean, the most standard main deck lineup ever. Change your heart with a double Econ is kind of interesting. This gives you the chance to go second and board break. Same thing with these. Especially like if your opponent tries to set up like an interruption, you can go ahead and tribute take, you know, while baiting some sort of negate along the way, which is pretty good. Then, of course, we are citing the one, the only, the Nightmare Corruptor Ibli. Let me tell you, for as much as we've seen this card be busted, you know, for a majority of the formats, it is just a free powerhouse, especially just handing it over to your opponent, because most people aren't playing the outs anymore. So, once again, you take your free wins where you can get them as long as people are not prepared for it. Next up here, we have Trap Tricks. Really? Okay. Wow. Triple Evenly, this has been standard as long as I've seen this deck see play. Parallel Exceed is mandatory. Essentially, this gives you the extending options to turbo out down through the, well, Rafflesia. I see that we are also playing the Little Barrowmint, the Sacred Sheep Shrub. Okay. I haven't seen this a lot. I know that they should be playing this because this is one of the better Exceed options that I feel like that they can access, but that's kind of cool. Trap Hole Spread feels pretty decent here. I don't have anything particularly out of left field to say about that. Monster lineup is also fine. Yeah, this deck is still an incredibly good metagame choice. If you're expecting to go like all the way to the finals, it might not be realistic, but you got to keep in mind that you can grind against a lot of the competition, and you can get good wins where you need to get them. It's just, if you're expecting well-rounded matchups all day long, no. Next up here, we have Runick for Hire. So this is the deck that typically, I think, generates like a massively huge hand, and your opponent just looks at you and goes, no, like, how did this happen? Well, snowball advantage. Also, I mean, once again, you have the Sprite package in here giving you the consistent options through dear old Rex here, Fossil Dig for Rex as well. We are really extending here, and then of course we're playing the Rookie for Hire in here as well. Yeah, I mean, the entire purpose is you're going to be able to make Donner full go for value. I also see that we are playing Scareclaw Tryhard. Technically, I feel like if you see this card, while playing this deck, like, what is your opponent really supposed to do? Like, you're just like, oh, hey, you know, try hard with full Runick combo backing it. Yeah, good luck, have fun. And then we have Evenlies in here as well for disruptability options. But once again, I mean, this feels about what I would expect to be the norm for this deck. Next up here, hey, it's Noctivision. We haven't seen hardly any Noctivision at all as of late. So this is a very nice callback. Even though it's triple Noctivision, I still think that this is pretty solid. One Lubellion with our Bysteel package. Our Bysteel package isn't quite as flushed out as some of the other builds. I'd say that this is like running on the bare minimum here. Let's see here. Hand trap ratio is fine. One Absa router. We are playing Thrust, and then of course we're side decking the anti-spell fragrance. This card is MVP this format. Like, this card solidly ruins people's days as long as they're not prepared for it. And trust me when I say this, we love our free W's you can get out here. If you're expecting, like, once again, to play an easy day with Dragon, like, no. I feel like a majority of your wins you're gonna be things you're gonna have to work for with this deck. There's a reason why it's, you know, sought after as one of the highest level of competitive decks in the game. And then we have, hey, Brandon, hey, Dark Magician. I'm glad to see that the brick is still doing its job out here. The fact, where is it? There's the Dark Dragoon. My pseudo win condition, of course, you do see the crossout designator so you can stop those pesky little hand traps from bullying you. And then, of course, everything else in terms of ratios. One Magnet, I guess, is a little bit extra. You don't really see that. It's usually just one Lubellion, one star in here, but okay. And then, of course, Masquerade's been punted to the side deck for time. No Gimmick Puppet in this, actually. Okay. So it is our breakdown of everything that we have for the France event. Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and yes, that is Fusion Duplication. You guys have a good rest of your day, alright? Patrons, thank you!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.